And welcome back. Now we got the stock tank out of the way, and this is a great time to take a look side by side with the new tank that we're putting in. We got this one from Titan Fuel Tanks, and it's a lot bigger. I mean, you take a look, 34 gallons here, good sized tank, but we're stepping it up to 60 gallons right here. The idea was to let our buddy stop less when he's driving, right? Spend more time on the road. Everything's going to be more efficient, especially work. So he's going to be able to accomplish that with this. This is nice. It's all molded. It looks good. And we're going to be able to reuse some of the pieces and parts from this one to move them over. And it's got all the bracketry and hardware that we need as well. So everything's here.
Yeah, it's a neat looking tank. It's custom molded to fit all the contours underneath the truck, and what's nice about it is the fact it's made of a high-grade polyethylene. It's a military grade, which makes this thing really strong, but yet it keeps it light, so it's easy to move around, and it's not going to add a bunch of unwanted weight to the truck. Now all we have to do is transfer over all our stock stuff to the new tank, like these fuel lines. All that stuff will still work. Now they make a special tool to take off this outer clamp, but if you don't have one, you just use a hammer and a chisel, and it usually comes off pretty easily. There we go.
There you go.
Now, before you pull out the sending, you want to make a mental note as to where it's clocked in relation to the tank. This way, you put it in the same spot on the new tank, and all your lines will still work.
Now, when you're coming through and you're getting ready to slide that in, another thing you want to do real quick before we insert it right down there is to double check and make sure there's no junk down in here. We got it. It was nice and clean. We just want to make sure we didn't get anything down in there. Nobody was playing paper toss with the new tank when we weren't looking.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
It still looks, everything looks good. All right.
There you go.
So we'll get that. Now this will slide in, and we're gonna have this sitting kind of in this position. Now you mentioned the clocking of it all. Let me move these out of the way for now, right? So this needs to sit right about there, but we're gonna have an issue when we plug in these two lines right here with these bolts. So what we need to do is trim this tab a little bit. So Bruno, if you, give me a straight cut there. Yep. And then maybe from the corner in. Okay. And that should help us line up. That tab's not really doing anything. We can trim that up a little bit.
So make sure you don't drop it in the tank.
Yeah, well, we don't need the whole tab. All right, so now that turns us perfect. We can line up our lines. We won't have any trouble when we put this ring on either. So now we can get this in place and secure it down, and our lines will line up just right.
Now when you're tightening this thing down, you'll notice we're using new hardware. We're not using this clamping ring. We want to torque these down to 20 foot-pounds, but do it so in a star pattern. This way that you've got a nice even pull as it comes down, and it'll seal well. You won't have any fuel leaks.